So good. Some bad. In some laggier battles with the F2A Buffalo and lessons learned with them now here in the Fighter Driver channel. Weapons clear. Salute and welcome to the Fighter Driver channel. I'm Gabriel Oliveira, the Fighter Driver, and today we'll be flying the F2A1 and F2A3 Buffalo with you guys. I'll share my experiences and lessons learned by flying these planes in arcade air battles, studying the good and bad results. What can we learn from them? Let's find out, and if you're new to the channel, enjoy the moment to subscribe and activate the notifications bell so every time we bring new content to the channel, you'll be notified and don't miss a thing. If you're already a follower and know our content, our proposals, and the effort we put on trying to bring new quality content, help us by leaving your like, your comment, and sharing this content. That way you help us to reach more people. We appreciate all of your support. So, first lesson. Always climb as fast as you can, as high as you can. Being your fighter a boomer and zoomer, an energy fighter, a two-circle fighter, a one-circle fighter, it doesn't matter. Just climb. Seek for altitude advantage. I see a few people doing it in lower rank battles. Don't know how it works in higher rank battles. But altitude is life. Altitude gives you potential energy which you can trade for kinetic energy, and who is higher always has the advantage. As I don't take part in a squad nor do I lead one yet, I'm just getting altitude and keeping defensive positions, protecting our bases, especially from the enemy bombers. If you don't get high as fast as you can, especially if your planes don't have a good climbing rate, it will be virtually impossible to get those bombers later on during the match, and they will destroy your bases very easily. The Buffalo ain't very fast and doesn't have very good climb rate as well, but climbing at the very beginning will give me a good altitude and make me able to hunt some bombers and attack planes as well. I started with the PBY Catalina, then went after the SB212 Vindicator, then a Martin Model 139 or B10. No bomber passed by me at high altitude in this battle, Bravo Zulu. Note that I try to be over them with altitude advantage and just boom and zoom with a high aspect pass. If you can come from the front side instead of chasing from behind, even better, so you will avoid the rear defensive guns that way. In another battle, I come from above and boom and zoom over an IL-4. Get a crit but don't get it splashed, so he hits me, not critically. Then I use my energy advantage, extend and climb again for another pass. But situational awareness is vital. See other allies coming for him and many enemies behind him. So I seek for safety in the altitude again. And here comes lesson 2. Never put yourself in a disadvantaged position. We'll see that basically every time I got shot down by the enemies, it happened because I broke this rule. Different battle, again coming from above, using the energy advantage for a boom and zoom over this SBD3 Dauntless, and again, right after the splash, I climb seeking for altitude one more time. The Buffalo is primarily a good boomer and zoomer, despite being a reasonable one-circle fighter as well, but booming and zooming should be your first option with this plane. Another battle, I come for this A36 Mustang, get him a critical damage, which I'll call crit for simplification from now on, get him splashed by the heavy damage, and then climb for altitude again. Remember, rule number 1, always seek altitude advantage. Always keep yourself as high as you can in the sky. Another battle, now I go after this BF-110, which is a heavy fighter, a dangerous one, but the Buffalo can alternate if it's needed to get engaged in a turn fight, especially in one-circle fights, which are those fights in which one fighter tries to pull towards the other fight's front, making turns with a smaller turn radius. In other words, a one-circle fight is a radius fight. The one with a tighter turn radius gets the advantage. This turn fight started as a two-circle fight in the vertical, meaning each one was maneuvering towards the other's rear, which is different from a one-circle fight, as in a two-circle fight, the one with the best turn rate wins. Maybe in the future I bring you a video explaining the difference. If you think it's a good idea, leave me a comment asking for it. So he was winning the two-circle fight, so I reverse it into a one-circle fight, and the Buffalo is better than the BF-110 in a one-circle fight, so I got a crash kill. Later on in the same battle, I try a boom and zoom over this F4U-1A, which is a much better boom and zoomer than the Buffalo is, as it's much faster, but it's not a very good turn fighter. So if I had to engage in a turn fight with it, I would have the advantage. I tried to explore this advantage here, but actually it was a mistake as there were other enemy fighters committing to the fight. I suddenly see myself trapped in a turn fight with multiple enemies as I broke rule number 2, and it could have ended pretty bad for me. I just got away with it because there were allies engaged in what came to be a furball, as you can see here. The F4U-1A is gone by now, and we're engaged directly with a TPD-1 and a P400, and I have to maneuver in relation to both of them. I get a P400 splashed, got hit by the TPD-1 defensive guns but not crit, then go after it as well, splash TPD-1. I broke rule number 2 and got away with it this time, but in the next battles I will be punished for breaking the rules. Now, let's see some engagements ended in a tie here. I see this P40 coming for me and engage in a head-on pass, but here comes another lesson learned in the previous videos. When coming for a head-on pass, don't go dead ahead. Get some offset positioning and dodge any possible incoming ammo. Otherwise, your chances of getting splashed or getting a mid-air collision are 50%. The P40 knows it can't win in a turn fight and makes a smart choice, extending and getting some speed as he's faster than me. Then he turns back and tries another pass, but again I don't fall in the trap and don't commit in a head-on pass. Then he again extends and gives up the fight. I have no speed to chase him down as he dies. It would be breaking rules number 1 and 2, so it's a tie. Now I try to take on this Spitfire, don't get a gun solution, no hits on it, just extend and seek for altitude again. Now I engaged this BB-1, and later on I came to know it's the very dangerous prototype of the Soviet Su-2. I end up engaged in a turn fight with it in the canyon, and as you can see I outturn it, but his defensive guns are very dangerous and hit me as well. Luckily I don't get crit damaged. Is over before I can do anything else. And now I make a huge mistake. I come from below with a very high altitude disadvantage. I got lucky this guy didn't decide to come head on in a vertical pass when he realized I was attacking him from below. I'd probably be splashed by it if he did so. Another thing, this B-17B is the Saab 17, not the Bomber B-17. So it's a deadly opponent, not as armed as the Bomber, but a very maneuverable attack plane. I really got lucky. He makes a mistake as he reversed in front of me in vertical. That's why I critted, but the mission is over and I couldn't get the splash. Another lesson we can learn here, seek to know your opponent. I attacked it thinking it was the Bomber. Huge mistake. Before we keep on, if you haven't watched the previous episodes yet, I'll leave here in the top right corner and also in the video's description a link for the entire War Thunder playlist, so you can follow this journey from the very beginning and have some fun with our noobiness. Now, if sim racing is also your thing, I will also leave the link for the Gran Turismo 7 playlist, which is awesome. So when you finish watching this video, you can get there and have some fun with the battles, but now on the track. And from now on, I won't escape from my mistakes, they will get me good. I get engaged in a turn fight with this B-18A bomber in a very low altitude with enemies not very far away. I can see them coming close, so right now I should disengage and extend, seeking for an escape window, but instead I keep engaged.
We've captured the airfield. Now we need to hold it.
Then an FW-198 is on my 6 o'clock and shooting me. He passes and makes a mistake too, as he tries to engage in a turn fight against me. He should have extended, used his speed for seeking altitude advantage, and then come for another boom and zoom pass. He can't outturn me, but can outspeed me. A friendly BF-109E engages, and it brings me some hope.
We can't let him keep it.
Enemies that engaging. I lose it for a second, get hit by him or by another one. Now I can tell, as I don't have a good situational awareness, being stuck in the stern fight. Actually, I'm being hit by an F2A1, so our capacities are the same and he has my 6 o'clock. Rule number 1 broken, rule number 2 broken, pay the price and get splashed. Another battle, another huge mistake. I try to engage 2 enemies which are higher than me, so they have the altitude advantage and they're more capable fighters when it comes to booming and zooming and also vertical energy. A perfect recipe for getting splashed. Next battle. I don't have the altitude advantage, I'm outnumbered, the enemies are better equipped with fighters which are better in many aspects. I don't know where my mind was when I decided to engage them. An allied P-38C engages and tries to help me. I can survive for a few turns. Now debriefing it, I realized that I incredibly survived for much longer than it would be expected. But my fortune was certain by the time I decided to engage. Splash me.
Another zone captured, we have the advantage.
Next one. I have the altitude advantage and traded for a pass against 5 enemies flying on the deck. Again, what is wrong with me? I managed to zoom among them, extend and seek for altitude, but not in a very steep climb, as there are other enemies who saw me doing this crazy shit and understood the fish in a barrel I was at the moment. they engaged. Then what did I do? Instead of keeping the extension and trying to flow away, I turned into them and try a turn fight. It seems that once a noob, always a noob. I hope you can learn from my mistakes and don't make them as I did. I also hope I can learn from them and develop discipline, the most important skill a fighter pilot must have. Discipline is key. It's #1 rule actually. And now, to end this video, let's see some laggy battles. You see, my laptop ain't a gamer one, and when it's very hot here where I live, it overheats and makes it impossible for me to record the videos for you guys. The money is short right now, I wish I could invest in it, but I can't. But maybe you can help me by leaving me a like, a comment, and sharing this video with your friends, bringing more reach to the channel. Also, if you're not subscribed here yet, consider doing so if you liked this content. Helping me with this channel, making it grow will certainly help me getting a better hardware in the future. I hope you liked this video. I appreciate you who followed me so far. Salute, and I see you in the next mission.